Welcome back, traders. And as we wrap up the year, I want you to imagine this. Just 2 to 3 hours of your time dedicated to reviewing your trading could completely change the trajectory of your next trading year. And that's really it, just a couple of hours. In that time, you will streamline your process, weed out what's holding you back, and set powerful new impulses that will drive your performance forward. By diving into your trading journal, as we're going to do in a moment, and reflecting on what worked, what didn't, and why, you will gain clarity. You will know exactly what to focus on in the month ahead, and more importantly, you will know what to avoid. This is how successful traders grow, through reflection, refinement, and commitment to continuous improvement. So let's make the next year your best yet. Take this time to review, reset, and prepare to trade with more confidence and clarity than ever before. Let's get started. So let's get started with the actual review, and this review follows a very simple 8-step process. And this 8-step process helps you to audit really every part of your trading process and your approach. The first thing that we're doing is we're going to the journal, and then we just need to scroll a little bit to the right until we see our return column. And the first thing that we want to do is find our 10 most profitable and our 10 least profitable trades. So our 10 biggest winners and our 10 biggest losses. The reason why we do that is because we can learn a lot from our biggest wins and from our biggest losses. The biggest wins hopefully tell us and show us things that we can repeat. They help us find things that worked exceptionally well so that we can leverage our strength. On the other hand, when we are finding our 10 biggest losses and we audit them, we are learning things that we need to work on so that we can avoid it in the future. And the 10 biggest losses should tell us and show us our weaknesses that we need to work on. So once you have ordered here the return column, you will see the 10 biggest winning trades at the top. And what you can do is you just open them and then you quickly go through the trade. You want to see what is going on here. Why was this trade such a big winner? Ideally, you have also captured some notes on the trades when you have journaled them. You can look at your trade comments. You can look at the screenshots if you have some to remind yourself of what went wrong or what went right here in that case. And then what you want to do is for each of the 10 wins and for each of the 10 losses, you want to write just one sentence and one finding. What caused this trade to be such a great winning trade, or what caused this trade to be such a big losing trade? By the way, to get to the biggest losses, we have to click on this again twice. And then you can see now it is sorted for the 10 biggest losing trades. And you do the same. You pull up the trade, you quickly review it, and then you come up with a conclusion. A tip here, what you can do is we open the diary and the notebook, and then you can, for example, create here a category on the left side that you can call reviews. We can add a new note. We can title it end of year review, and then here's where we capture all of our things. And this review should be really, really straightforward. You don't want to end up with a wall of text that takes you a long time to review. You can keep it very simple. Just type in 10 biggest wins, 10 biggest losses. And then for each trade, you just want to make one finding. And that is already going to be very helpful once you have a list of 20 insights into your best and worst trades. Next, we want to analyze our confluence factors. So what are the criteria and the signals that perform best and worst? For that, we go to our chart lab and then to the custom stats. And then you can go through all of your custom statistics that you have created. And for each category, you just want to look at the best and the worst performing tag. So here, for example, we have a tag called time frame, and then we look at what is the best time frame, what is the worst time frame, and what can we learn from that. So here it seems like the 1 hour is performing the best, the daily time frame is performing the worst, and that should tell us then that we are probably much better suited for lower time trading, and the higher time frames are not really working out for us. Very, very important finding that we can find here from our custom stat, and then we'll just go through all of our different custom stats. Here, for example, we can see the wedge pattern is the best performing, and if we trade a trade where we don't have any pattern at all, that is not performing great. So then we have some options. Do we ditch the ones where we have our worst tags? So we are not trading trades where we don't have a pattern, which is probably a good idea. And we can also choose that next year we are not going to trade the daily time frame. And just by eliminating those parts of your trading, you should hopefully see already some improvement in your trading. It's also going to be way more streamlined, and you can reduce a lot of noise from your trading. Again, you go back to your journal, you open the review, you go back to your end of year review, and then you just create a new space here. And this is all you need here, really. You have your best and your worst custom stat, and then for each custom statistic that you have in your trading journal, you identify the best and the worst. And you do that for all of the different custom stats that you have. You can also write a conclusion sentence here underneath each one. What is the conclusion that you're drawing from your findings here? Are you ditching the one, or are you trying to work on the ones that are not working well? That's a little bit up to you, but keep it simple, keep it very streamlined, and make sure that you don't end up with a wall of text so that you can come back to your end of year review. You can just skim over it and then you can see and remember what came up here and what you wrote. The next thing what we want to do is we go to our report and to the monthly report, and we want to identify our best performing month and the worst performing month. And what this does, it helps us to dig deeper into our trading behavior. So for example, February is the worst trading month where we realized a loss of $600. The best trading month is here January with a huge gain. And then we want to think about what went really well here. Why did we lose so much in this month and why did we make so much money here? Was it process related? Did we just trade with more discipline? Was the market maybe exceptionally favorable? What you can do is just click here on the trade number into the month that you want to analyze, and it will bring you to the journal and pre-filter the trades that we're taking in that period. Then go through the trades. You can, for example, look at the tilt meter. Was the tilt meter really great here? You can open the trades quickly, see what those trades have in common. And then you want to write a basic conclusion once again, why you think or why you found that this month was particularly great for you. So again, you want to come up with a conclusion and a finding. Keep in mind that it is better to just reduce it to a single finding and really focus on the one thing that makes the biggest difference in your trading. It's not necessary to have like a list of 10 things that are going well here. Identify one thing that is really attributing to the good performance, and that is going to be very, very helpful and a streamlined process. So back in the end of year note, we can create a new category and a new part here. So we have the section for best and worst month here now. You can write a sentence or two about the best month, one or two sentences about the worst month, and then that is it for this category and this part of the review. Next, we want to look at the efficiency. So the efficiency tells us a lot about our discipline. How well were we able to follow our trading rules during the year? And here you can come up with a few findings. So assuming this is the year of our trading, and in this journal, this only has data from 2024, but if you have a journal with multiple years, what you should be doing actually is open the filter and then only filter for 2024 trades. So you only have your review on the trades that we're taking during that year. So for the efficiency graph, you can note a few things. You can, for example, note the peak. What was the peak on your efficiency? What was the lowest rating or number on your efficiency? And then over the last few weeks and months, what was the tendency? So here you can see the efficiency has increased slightly, which is good. It shows us we are more disciplined. But you also want to look at what is going on here. From here to here, from the bottom to the top, what did we do differently here? And you want to analyze that as well and find out what drove your behavior during that period where you seemingly followed your rules very, very well and it led to an increase on your efficiency. Conversely, you also want to look at that period here where your efficiency really tanked. What went wrong here so that in your next year, you can avoid such a period, or when you're seeing that your efficiency is dipping again, you can implement counter mechanisms and you can try to avoid that. So we're coming back to our note here. We create a new category for discipline and efficiency. We can create 3 different categories. So top of your efficiency, what did you do well here when your efficiency peaked? What was the problem when you hit your efficiency bottom? And what is the latest tendency? So over the last few weeks, did your efficiency go up or down? And what was going on here? By the way, if you want to style this a little bit, of course, you can highlight here the category header, for example. We open the paragraph, and then here you can add headings, so that becomes a little bit easier to identify where your different sections are in your review. Of course, we also need to analyze and audit our strategies. And if you've been watching our review videos over the last few months, you have often seen that traders have a large number of different setups and strategies that they are trading. And very often what you will see is that one or two setups and strategies are really what makes the most amount of their profits. And then you have one or two setups that are really costing the trader a lot of money. In those cases, what we recommend typically is that you avoid all of the setups that you have been trading, but you only focus on the one or two most profitable setups. And this has a variety of positive impacts on your trading. First of all, your trading will be way more streamlined. It probably will take you a lot less time also to do all of your trade scanning, trade planning, trade journaling. You will also be way more focused if you just have to manage two different trading strategies and keep only the rules of those two strategies in your mind instead of juggling all of the other components that make up all of your other setups. So that has a huge benefit for your trading. So if you find that this is the case for you, you maybe have 6, 7, or 8 setups, but only 1 or 2 are performing really well, then you could think about ditching all of the setups that are not performing for the next 6 to 8 months or 6 to 12 months, whatever it is, and see how your trading will transform if you're only focusing on what is working really, really well and what is actually making money for you. So this is how it could look now in your notebook. So you have your strategy section that we are just auditing. Then you can identify your best strategy or your best strategies, and then you come up with an approach next year. Are you going to work on the ones that are not performing, or are you strictly going to focus on the ones that are performing and making you money? The next part of our audit is going to be about our trade comments. With the trade comments, as you probably know, you can rate and tag your trade entries, your trade exits, and your trade management. So for each of the 3 categories, you want to take a look at what is really working well, and then on the opposite side, what isn't working. So here, clearly, when you're making the perfect entry, it performs really well. And if you're getting in too late, that seems to be your biggest weakness, you are losing quite a lot of money. And then you can draw different conclusions from that. First of all, it's a realization that if you just follow your rules, you are making good amount of money. But here as well, if you see that you are losing so much money on the trades that you have entered too late, you have to make a conscious commitment that going forward, you are not going to take those trades where you are too late. If you miss a trade, you can now see it's not working out for you, and you're way better off just forgetting about the trade and waiting for the next opportunity. For your exits, the same applies here. When you're following your rules, your trade exits are working really well, so your strategy is performing profitably. But if you get out too early, that seems to be your biggest issue. And you are losing quite a lot of money here by exiting too early. Another very, very important finding. So we're creating a new section here in the notebook. We call it trade comments because that's what we just audited. And then you can create subcategories for your entry, the exit, and the trade management. What I would recommend here is that for what is not working well here, so what is your most underperforming comment, write down a sentence or two on how you want to combat that next year. What is a good action plan that could help you improve your trading behavior and avoid those aspects of your trading where you're losing money currently? Again, keep it short so that by the end you can come back to your end of year review note here and then you can review it very, very quickly. And really try to focus on just one thing per category that is not working out. It's always best and most helpful if you're just focusing on the one thing that is costing you most money, because that, if you fix that, it's going to have the biggest impact on your trading performance. And you can already see here, we're going to end up with a list of a lot of very helpful and very targeted insights here that are focusing only on the best and the worst aspects of our trading. We are not focusing and we're not looking into the things that are performing so and so, that are just roughly break even, because fixing that, it's not going to have such a big impact. But if we can do more of the things that are working really well, and we can avoid and fix or improve the things that are costing us the most money, that's going to have the biggest impact on our bottom line as a trader. Next, we want to look at our risk management and our position sizing in our trading. So for that, we go to our risk distribution graph. And especially here on the left side, we want to look at the outliers that you can find on the far left. Those are trades where you realized very, very large outsized losses. So here we can see our average loss is minus 0.62%, but here we have a loss that is roughly 8 times larger than our average loss. And such losses can wipe out months or weeks of profitable trading. So it's really important that we get to a point where we can control and manage our risk to get a more conservative risk management approach so that those single losses are not threatening our profitability. And what we want to do in this step is to identify if this is a problem for us. Do we see trades that are 3, 4, 5 times larger than our average loss? And if that's the case, we have to understand what is going on here. Are we just taking too much risk? Or are we letting normal losses get out of hand? So when a trade moves against us, we are widening our stop loss or taking it off completely so that a potentially normal loss suddenly turns into a large loss. And what we could do for this risk section and the risk aspect of our audit is to write down our average loss. So what was our average loss currently? And what is our biggest loss? And then we have to find out what went wrong here. Aren't we good on our position sizing? Do we just let single losses get out of hand by moving our stop loss further away? Write down your finding and the reason for what is going wrong here, and then try to find a way on how you can improve that next year. But by bringing it just to the top of your mind and bringing it into your consciousness and identifying what is going wrong here, you're way more likely to actually do something about it. If traders don't do such an audit and never look at what is performing and what isn't working for them, they are obviously not as likely to fix and to adjust their trading approach, and then they are more likely to just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. The final part of our audit is our trade management, and then we have really covered all of the different aspects of our trading. And in our trade management, we want to see if trade management is an issue for us. So actual performance in blue, potential performance in green, and that is really what we want to analyze. We want to see, is our actual performance above or below our potential performance. Here in the first part, we see that the potential performance is above the actual performance. This means potentially we could have made more money than what we actually did. And this means we are mismanaging our trades. And mismanaging our trades usually means that we are exiting our winning trades too early or we let losses get out of hand. Here in the second part of this curve, we see that we are actually making more money than what we could have done with our potential performance. So here we are managing our trade actually quite well, and it seems like we have done something differently and we have changed our approach here at the crossroad that led to this improvement of our trade management effect. So the most important finding in this section of your trading audit is if you can see that your potential performance is above your actual performance. If that's the case for you, then what you should be doing is considering a passive trade management approach. A passive trade management approach means that you are not messing with your trade. So you take the trade, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit target, and then you don't interfere with your trade again after or until the price is reaching your exit or your stop loss. And this is really what the potential performance graph is based on. It's based on a set and forget approach. So here for the management part, we just want to have a single finding. Is the trade management for us currently a problem? Is the potential performance above the actual performance? If that's the case, note it down here and write something like, I am messing up my trades by managing them inefficiently. Most of the time it's going to be just closing winning trades too early. And then you will see if there's an overlap. Your trade exit comments also showing that this is a problem for you here or under trade management, depending on how you have set up your Edgewonk. And those are the 8 sections and aspects of your end of year trading review. You will see it doesn't take long if you set aside 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday or Sunday, or whenever you have time during the holiday period. You should be able to get through your audit very quickly. Again, make sure that all of your findings and all of the comments that you're leaving are very short and brief so that you can easily skim through them again later during that year if you just want to remind yourself of what went wrong, what went right, and just have a reminder of where your focus should be. And I hope this review helped you. Let me know in the comments below if you're doing something similar, if you have been doing something similar in the last few years. Maybe you have some tips on how to improve the end of year review for other traders, or if you have any questions, also let us know in the YouTube comments below. We're wishing you a very good end of year period. Enjoy the holidays if you're celebrating Christmas, and we will be back soon with new videos and some exciting updates for Edgewonk.